Hello, my name is Rob Garner. I'm a computer programming instructor, and today I'm going to explain the basic process for working with databases using SQLite3. So, SQLite3 is a library, and we are going to start off by importing SQLite3. It's just a regular library, just very similar to the math library um, that you get also with Python. And then the next thing we have to do is create something called a connection. And for SQLite3, we provide this thing called a connection string here, which really is just the file name of the database. So when we connect to SQLite3, this connect method is going to look to see if this database exists in the folder the application is running from. If it doesn't exist, it will actually initialize this database and create it. And you'll then see this in the same data. Now, if you want to add a path so that it's in a subdirectory, you can do that. Make sure the directories are created, and you can put this, in some you might have a data subdirectory, and it would be, /data/ some database.db. But we're going to just put this, have these databases show up in the same folder as the application in these demos. Then next thing you do is you create something called a cursor. And this is just an instantiation statement. We instantiate from connection.cursor a cursor object. And we'll learn more about this later as we get into SQL. But basically, the cursor is what we're going to use to actually send SQL commands to our SQLite database. And we're going to see that will allow us to add, create, retrieve, update, and delete data from the database. And then once we've done all our changes, we tell our connection to commit to whatever we have. You can and should commit each time you've modified the database, not just when you're ready to close it, because this is what actually makes sure that everything is written to the database. And then finally, when we're all done, just like you do with files, you want to close your connection. And generally speaking, we want to open a database connection, do our work, and close it as quickly as possible. And although databases can have multiple users connecting to it, which is one of the advantages of databases, you actually have a limited number of users that can connect to them. And it's a good idea to only use the database for as short a period as you can to make it as available as possible to other users. So the basic process for using SQLite is to import SQLite3, create a connection, create a cursor, and then use that cursor to access the database, commit your changes, and then close your database. So we'll look at that process a little bit more next.